What's going on, my Alpha brethren? You know, I had someone ask me, how do you know for sure that your woman is who she says she is? And I thought that was a great question. And I know that many other men probably have this same question. Because let's be honest, we know that women have the propensity to present themselves in a manner that is not exactly accurate. So let's talk about this. A woman can be whoever she wants to be. She can present herself to you in any light she chooses to shine on herself. And due to the fact that you really don't know her, you're left in the position of having to accept, at least to some extent, how she presents herself. And we all know that the majority of the times, it's just not an accurate depiction of who she truly is. As a woman, as an individual, as a lover, as a friend, as a mother, she can always boost her appeal, boost her profile with lies, deceit, or withholding information, which is their favorite form of lying that they do not identify as lying. So I don't understand why men find themselves all over the Instagrams and the Facebooks and the Snapchats and the YouTubes, pandering to these women, pursuing these women, pedestalizing these women, prioritizing these women, when in all actuality, you never know a woman until you really know that woman, and you will never really know that woman. You see, a bitch can be whoever she wants to be on Instagram. She can present herself in whatever light she wants to present herself. Angles, lighting, body girdles, cover-ups, filters. All of these things are things that are regularly used. And they've been used. This is no secret. When you see a chick on the front of a magazine, she does not look like that for real. They have spent hours making her up, and then they brushed the cover to brush away any imperfections that she might still be housing, even though they spent 5 hours making her up. This is the same thing chicks do on Instagram. A chick can be whoever she wants to be on Snapchat. And the truth be told, they don't care who they are on Snapchat. They actually post themselves engaged in sexual acts on Snapchat. A chick can be whoever she wants to be on Facebook, man. She can present the image that she wants to present. Bitch can have her children on the weekends and take a picture every weekend of her hanging out with her children, and you be thinking, oh man, she's a wonderful mother, and you realize that somebody else got her children and she just get them on the weekend. But you don't know that because you are a victim of however she wants to present herself being the truth. Her truth. And her truth is the truth that will be presented to you for the most part. A woman can present herself however she wants to present herself on YouTube. That is why this whole big thing with Cynthia G, that is why all these men, I still don't understand why in the hell they talking about it, but that is why all these men continue to speak on her and ridicule her for being pregnant, supposedly, by the man that she's supposedly pregnant by. Because she presented herself in a certain light. And they all present themselves in a certain light. You have no idea whether that's accurate or not. But men have become so effeminate in this society that men have started to embrace the fantasy outlook that women have always had. Women used to look for a knight in shining armor. Now men are looking for a knightess in shining armor. I am not making this up. This is the way it is. You really don't know a woman until you really know a woman. And you will never really know a woman. That's the reality of it, man. What do you know about her past relationships? You know absolutely nothing about them. You don't know if she's been with 50 men. You don't know if she's been with 100 men. You don't know if she's been with 3 men. All you know is what she says, and that number is going to reflect on the number that she feels shines the most favorable light on her. If she wants you to think she's an experienced freak and she knows how to please you, she's going to tell you that she's been doing this her whole life, and you never know, she might have been with one man. If she wants to be this wholesome woman, she is going to present herself as a woman who's been with no men or has been with one man. I'll tell you the truth. The only thing keeping a woman who's been with a few men from saying she ain't been with no men is 9 times out of 10, she got a baby. You take that same woman who says, I've only been with 1 or 2 men and she's got babies, take them babies from her. Go back into a time when she didn't have babies and she'll tell you she's been with no men. She'll tell you she's a virgin. She'll tell you that 2 men wanted her to do it, but she never did do it. You know how I know this? Because a chick told me she was a virgin once, and when I finally started picking her brain and made her relax the way the alpha essence does, she told me the truth about herself. Before she said it, she prefaced it with, you know what, I'm going to tell you something, be honest with you about something, and you're probably not going to like me after this. You're probably going to think bad of me after this. And I said, no, Shawty, I'm not going to think bad of you after this. And she told me, you're damn right I thought bad of her. Like, why'd you tell me a blatant lie that I didn't ask for? You know what I'm saying? If a lie is going to save your life, tell it. If a lie is going to save you from getting robbed, tell it. If a lie is going to save your money, save you from losing the ability to take care of your children, tell it. But don't tell me a blatant lie that has absolutely nothing to do with nothing except the way you intend to present yourself to me. What do you know about her past relationships? What do you know about how she functioned in those relationships? How do you know about what kind of effort she put forth in those relationships? How do you know that she is who she says she is? How do you know that she was a good woman to a man until you talk to that man? And not only must that man say that she was a good woman, that man must first understand what a good woman is, because there are plenty of men who have horrible women who will tell you that my woman is good. And I know you know some of those men. I know some myself. So you know nothing about her past relationships. So however she's presenting herself, telling you that this is how I've done in my relationships and I've been this way and I did this. I don't know what you did. You can't listen to no broad tell you what she's done, man, because she's going to always leave out the part that incriminates her. She's going to always leave out the part that shines a negative light on her, brothers. You know this as well as I do. So no man should get caught up in just simply listening to what a woman has to say about herself. We know better than that. What do you know about her pregnancies and abortions? If she has children, you know she's been pregnant at least once. But I'm gonna tell you like this: I've never met a woman who has a child that hadn't had an abortion as well. Now, I'm not saying all women. I'm not saying this is fail-safe or foolproof. I'm not saying 100% of women. But me, myself, I have met a lot of women. I have met quite a few women who had a child. And every woman I have met who had a child also had an abortion. And 9 times out of 10, the abortion was due to a pregnancy from the same man whose child she had. You see what I'm saying? It goes to show you the mixed up nature of the female. The mixed up mind of the female. The mixed up understanding of the female. You don't know how many times what if she's had 5 miscarriages, but she has 1 baby? Yeah, she only has 1 child, but she's been pregnant 5 other times, man. 5 other times. Which means that obviously birth control is not something that she prides herself in knowing about. Because if she did, she would probably take a little more precaution before she's got pregnant 6 times. Or maybe she wanted to have a child. Who knows? All I'm saying is this is something you would like to know. You would like to know these things, and if you don't know these things, then you don't know your woman. You see, these are questions that a man should probably ask a woman before he becomes seriously involved with her. But a man only cares about what he sees on the surface. That is why a beautiful woman with a terrible attitude will be married before a fairly attractive woman with a great attitude will. Because men only look at the surface and they take what they see over what they hear, over what they smell, over what they taste, over what they think. And this is no lie. You know I ain't lying. If I'm lying, I'm flying, and nigga ain't no wings on my back. You would never truly know a bitch until you truly know a bitch. And you will never truly know a bitch. And that's the reality of the world that we live in as men. And I'll tell you something, I was having a discussion with a chick. And she was telling me that she used to be on a birth control, a patch. It was either a patch or insert, one of them. She said she was on it for quite a few years, longer than she should have been. And I said to her, why were you on birth control all of that time? And she said the expected response, because I didn't want to get pregnant. what that says, and I know some of you may say, well, that means nothing, man. A lot of women don't want to get pregnant. But what that says is, instead of making a man use protection, or instead of using a vaginal condom, she is going to say, I need a birth control pill because every man that I have sex with is probably going to have unprotected sex with me. And if I'm on birth control, I can let him go ahead and finish inside of me. I can let him bust inside of me. I can let him leave his seeds inside of me. That is the purpose for the majority of women, the overwhelming majority of women who are on birth control. They don't do it because of the possible mistake the condom may break in the heat of the moment. They don't do it for that one rare occasion where the energy may just be so crunk and so turned with a long time partner that they may end up having a pregnancy that they hadn't necessarily planned for. They do it to prevent having to be responsible for any other form of birth control. They do not want to carry condoms. They do not want to make a man wear condoms because she would rather you not wear a condom than to have you not give her the intimacy that she is so lacking. No one wants to talk about these things, but we're going to talk about them today. Now, granted, it is also up for the man to also protect himself. So I ask you, when you look at these birth control patches and you look at some of the side effects, they include acne, bleeding or spotting between periods, diarrhea, fatigue, feeling dizzy, fluid retention, headache, irritated skin at the patch site. Some of these damn things, man, can attach themselves or enter into the uterus, man. These are the type of side effects we're talking about that women are trying to take. They would rather take this risk, and all this thing does is prevent them from getting pregnant. They'll take 15 terrible side effects, some of them deadly, just to not have to be responsible for protecting their own bodies. And none of these birth control methods eliminate the possibility of contracting AIDS, HIV, herpes, chlamydia, gonorrhea, or any other of these STDs or STIs as they are so frequently referred to as. So you have to understand that you don't know any of these things. These are questions you should ask. I do not deal with a woman who is on birth control. A woman who is on birth control, when I meet her, is planning to have sex whenever. She doesn't know when she's going to have sex. She just knows that she needs to be prepared. But if you don't ask, you don't know. Do you ask women, are they on birth control? I do. I need to eliminate her as soon as possible. I don't need to find out on down the line when I'm into her and then I'm starting to, really feel like maybe there's a possibility that she can have a position in my life of some sort. And then I find out she's on birth control, something that I detest. What do you know about how the men in her past truly view her? How do you know they appreciate her? How do you know they like her? How do you know they ever loved her? How do you know they think she's an amazing woman? How do you know they think she takes good care of her hygiene? You'll be surprised how many men will sleep beside a woman who is not taking care of her hygiene or who does not smell the very best and never tell her once that she has a body odor that needs to be taken care of. He'll sit there and he'll deal with it. And she'll go on and on, doing all of these things to her body, thinking because he doesn't complain, she must smell good. Why? Why doesn't she smell the aroma? It's just like any other aroma. If it's on your body becomes used to it and it doesn't matter to you. Like, I've been talking to chicks before, man, and I've smelt their breath, and I just know for a fact she had to know that her breath was kicking like that. It was too foul. There's no way right up under her nose she didn't know. But you know what? Her nose is used to it. That's why she could barely smell anything else. She probably couldn't smell a skunk because she's got a skunk up under her nose. So you go to the men in her past and ask those men, how amazing was her sex? Because they'll all tell you that they're going to give you some of the most mind-blowing sex you ever had in your life. They'll tell you that they're this amazing shrink, this amazing head doctor, this amazing valedictorian. And then you kind of find out that the man just never said that because she was biting him all the time. You see, when you're in a relationship with a woman, when the majority of men are in a relationship with a woman, they do not tell her about herself. We always talk about men not checking their woman. Well, see, that's a part of checking your woman. If she's not taking care of her hygiene, you got to check her. If she's doing something wrong sexually, you got to check her. If she's not keeping the house as clean as she should, if she's not doing whatever she should be doing, whatever you require her to do, then you got to check her. And the bottom line is these women are not being checked. And so when you meet them, they are already in their own head telling you how amazing they are. A woman can gain 75 pounds and a man will never tell her that she's gotten fat. And then you meet her and she's gained 75 pounds. She's almost 200 pounds. She thinks she's amazing. Sometimes she's more than 200 pounds, damn near 300 pounds. And she thinks she's amazing because no man has ever sat her down and told her, hey, guess what, shawty? You're fat. You've gotten fat. You've gained too much weight. You need to lose some weight. Let's get on this eating plan together. Let's get on this exercise regimen together. Let's do these things together. And what happens is the man allows himself, he lets himself go as well. You're going to never see a 300-pound woman with a man that's lean and can see his abs. Not for long. Give him 6 months. That nigga abs going to be gone. Either his abs going to be gone or her flab going to be gone. You put a lean man with an overweight woman, and one of two things is going to happen in the first 6 months. Either his abs are going to leave or her flab is going to leave. That's the only way it's going to go down. And in all of these situations, 9 times out of 10, the man's abs leave and the woman's flab continues to be present. Talk to the men in her past. Whether she's been with 1 or she's been with 100. Talk to them. Ask them how nice she is, how submissive she is, how appreciative she is, how honest, well, not honest, don't worry about honest, how willing she is to admit that she's lied. Because honesty is not something, you're not going to get that. She'll admit she lied and didn't tell another lie. All you can expect from her is to admit that she's lied when you know she's lied. Talk to the men in her past. Ask them how trustworthy she is. Ask them how many times they found out she was talking to some dude and they didn't know anything about it. Ask them how many times she was telling some dude how much she loved him and they didn't know anything about it. Ask them how many times she was planning to go see some dude and they didn't know anything about it. Ask them how many times she actually went to see the dude and they didn't know anything about it. You see what I'm saying? Anytime a woman tells you how amazing she is and how amazing she was to her man or is to her man or was to the men in her past, you have to remind yourself that half of the shit she does, they don't even know it. They don't know the things she's done. Of course she's amazing. She's good at hiding her flaws. She's good at hiding her wrongdoing. She's good at lying convincingly. So you don't know a woman until you actually have an opportunity to speak to the men in her past. Like, it's amazing to me how a man can have a woman that he took from another man that he was kicking it with, that he was already sexing while she was with the other man, probably going to that man's house having sex with her, or picking her up from the home that she shared with her man. And all the while, she's sitting there telling him how good she is to that man and what he puts her through and how he don't appreciate her. And he's sitting there with this chick that's cheating on her man with him. And he's believing that she's this amazing chick because her beguiling nature is second in effectiveness only to her freaky nature. How do you know how many times she slept with her friends or relatives, man or boyfriend or husband? How many times do we know that? Because a man ain't gonna tell nobody. He ain't gonna tell nobody. If I sleep with my old lady's sister, I'm not gonna tell my old lady. If I sleep with her cousin, I'm not gonna tell her. Hell, if I sleep with somebody she don't know, I'm not gonna tell her. If I'm the average man, that's how the average man functions. He's in a monogamous relationship to the woman, but he wants to be in a polyamorous relationship or a polygynous relationship or a polygamous relationship. However you want to spin it, they all mean the same thing. The nigga want more than one woman. But he's living that life secretly. So he ain't going to say nothing at all. So how many people is she laughing in their faces? How many friends does she have that she treats like she loves them, and all the while, man, she's been sleeping with their man? Maybe more than one of their men. How many of her own relatives has she slept with? I know plenty of dudes who done knocked down their cousins. First cousins. Well, I don't know plenty, but I know a few who knocked down their first cousins. And yeah, I know, yeah, a woman could come in here. She better not come in here and say it, though. You come in here and say it, I'm going to block you. But a woman could come in here and say, as a matter of fact, don't speak in here. If you're a woman, don't say nothing in here. If you say something in here, I'm going to block you. You can listen, but don't talk. And you ain't even got to say, hey, this is a great topic. Yeah, how you love my channel. Just don't say nothing in here. This one is about you, not for you. So a woman may come in here and say, well, the man, he knew that was his cousin too. I don't give a damn about the man. I ain't talking about the man. I'm talking about women. I'm in here talking to men about women. I don't care what niggas do. Some of you men in here may have done that. So, they ain't got nothing to do with us. You got to go over there to a female channel if you want to hear somebody talk about that. We ain't talking about that here. We're talking about the fact that you will never really know a broad until you really know a broad. And you will never really know a broad. You did? So you don't know how many of her friends have cut her loose. You don't know how many times she got her ass jumped on in college for something because she was sleeping with somebody's boyfriend. You don't never know none of that. You don't know how many husbands she done slept with and she know the woman and she was cool with the woman and she laughed in the woman's face. See, I have no problem with her sleeping with the man. That's what women do. Every woman is going to sleep with multiple men. That's how it is. Even the woman that's been with one, no woman is going to die and she only been with one man. That time is gone, man. No woman is going to die a virgin. That time is gone, man. Unless she die real young. She got to die as a child. Ain't no grown woman, ain't no old woman finna die of old age and she ain't never been with a man her life. Unless she just been with women her whole life. But if she was the female in a relationship, you might well say she been with a man. She let another woman treat her like she was a man. Or she treated another woman like the woman was her man. But there is no possible way that you can tell me that you know this about a woman. Any of these things. So we've already gotten to 3 or 4 things that you don't know about a woman. But you know a woman, huh? You know your woman. You got yourself some at home, right? Tell me if you truly know whether she was molested or not and how often. Because I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. If a woman tells you about one scenario she was molested, there's at least one other one. And this is not to promote child molestation. Of course, you can't even mistake this for being that. And I'm not saying that a woman is not a victim if she was molested as a child. What I'm saying is that's some shit that I want to know. I want to know if you were molested as a child because I know the psychological damage that can have on a little girl. And that shit never goes away. So I want to know. And I'll be perfectly honest with you. The majority of women, I have never met a woman. I met one woman who said she had never been molested. But she grew up, she had 4 brothers. And her brothers were gutter. Now, they weren't gutter, but they were killers. They were damn sure killers. Just nobody even wanted to date her. You understand what I'm saying? We're talking about the type of brothers who would check their uncles. They check everybody but their dad. So, you know, I know her family, so I can kind of believe there's a possibility she was able to slide through the cracks. But hell, she could be lying too. You know, you never can put it past a woman to lie about any damn thing. So, how do you know how many times she's been molested? How many times you know that molestation was just touching? If it was just kissing? How do you know if it was penetration? Do you know if her first baby was by somebody she was molested by? Do you know if she had a baby by? Do you know if she had to kill that baby, have an abortion because she was pregnant by her? You never know any of these things, but you need to know because the psychological effect that has on a woman is going to have an effect on how she interacts with you, man. It is. You meet a woman who got her tubes tied and she ain't even got no children. You may just be, well, she don't want to have no children. She adamant about not having no children. She about her money. She just want to have her money, man. She ain't nothing wrong with that. Come on, bro. That's some serious shit. A woman who has no children, never had any children, and she already got her tubes tied. She don't want to have no children ever. Come on, bro. Come on. Oprah Winfrey ain't got no children, but Oprah Winfrey was molested as a youngster. You know what I'm saying? So that's a perfect example of what I'm saying. You don't know any of these things. You don't know if she's molested by a man or a woman. You don't know if it was just one time or it was a long-term relationship where she actually fell in love with her molester. We don't know any of these things. We have no idea. Tyler Perry, perfect example. Tyler Perry say, well, let me finish before you say, Tyler Perry ain't a woman. I know he ain't a woman, nigga, not for real. He want to be, but he's not. Tyler Perry, perfect example, man. Tyler Perry's the way he is. He say, man, he was molested as a child, man. It was a long-term relationship, man. Homie say he fell in love with the dude. You understand what I'm saying? So I know I give Tyler Perry a hard time, but I only give him a hard time, man, for dressing up in the whole drag thing, perpetuating it in Hollywood as an image. If it was something he was doing in the privacy of his own home, I wouldn't care. That's his thing. That's how he deals with his issues. But when it's perpetuated in the mass media, man, and then these black girls are the ones who supporting it. They young black girls, they got young children, young sons, and then they perpetuating this and they promoting this Mardil thing. And here's this young boy sitting around thinking that it's funny that his mama would like him if he dressed like Tyler Perry. That's a pretty deep wormhole, man. We're not gonna go down that right now. But you see what I'm saying? This is the drama. This is how all this could lead to, a host of different scenarios, different sets of circumstances and conditions. So you don't know that, man. You don't know if it's something that went on, man, from time she was 5 to the time she was 15. You don't know, bro. You have no idea. You don't know if her brother is really her brother or if her brother is a child she had while she was young because she got molested. And now her mother is taking care of the child like it's her brother. You don't really know that. Or her sister. You don't really know that. You don't really know if she's been abused. You don't really know, man. You don't know the if she tells you she's been abused, you don't know the level of the abuse. You don't know if she's had bones broken. You don't know if she's had to go out in public with her face beat in. You don't know if she had her face cracked, her jaw wired. You don't know any of that. You don't know if she's been stabbed, shot. You don't know any of these things. You got to learn these things. And you can only learn these things if the woman is willing to share these things. And the only way she's going to be willing to share these things, for the most part, you got to spend a whole lot of time with her in the beginning. So what if you got to be with a woman 2 years before she tell you that she spent the first freaking, once she was 5 years old, she spent the next 10 years of her life in an ongoing molestation relationship with her uncle. How's that going to affect you? If she tells you that her little brother is really not her little brother is really her son that she had when she was molested as a child. Yes, that's a damn bad scenario. It's terrible, terrible scenario. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. You know what I'm saying? No woman deserves to have that happen to her. No girl deserves to have that to happen to her, rather. No young girl deserves to have to deal with that. But if she does, I would like to know. Because unfortunately for her, I don't want her with me. That's a scar that I don't want to deal with. Another thing is this. How do you know how many freaky sexual acts she's engaged in and how nastily she behaves in such acts? There are certain things we can be pretty sure of. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I had a woman tell me, man, that, she was in a long-term relationship, man, and she's never performed oral sex. I mean, it's possible. You know what I'm saying? It's possible. But, I don't know. I don't believe it enough to say, hey, man, there's a woman over there. She's a good one. She's never done it. Mine is going to be the first time she does it. I don't believe it like that. But it's possible. It's possible, but it's also not possible because women lie so much. So you don't know how many freaky sexual acts she's had. She could have been gangbanged. I tell you what, I went to high school with a chick, man, who I ain't gonna call her name out, man, but I went to school with a chick, man. She was old. They were a little bit. They were older than me, man. You know what I'm saying? I was a freshman. They were seniors, and they may have already been out. They may have left the year before I got there. I don't know, one or the other. But man, there were pictures floating around of her, like in a gangbang with a bunch of white dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how she got her money for graduation. She was like the pictures were floating around, man. Like literally, I'm talking about a serious gangbang, bro. And we're talking about a high school girl. She probably 17 years old, man. Of course, I mean, that's the legal age of consent. And, where we were. But still, man, still. Think about that. And the crazy thing is, man, the dude that married her went to school with us. He knew about it. And I'm quite sure his homies ragged him about it. Because in that environment, man, you get ragged about shit. People don't spare your feelings. But he married her anyway. Or maybe he didn't know. Who knows, man? I think he knew. He went to school. Everybody knew shit. You know what I'm saying? It was around. All the homies knew about it. So what I'm saying is, just say if she goes and marries another man, he don't know nothing about that. He don't know nothing about it. And you don't think he would want to know that? You don't think he would want to know, man, that not only did she do it, see, like I said about the old boy Tyler Perry, it's one thing if you do it in the privacy of your home. Once that shit gets out in public, then it becomes an embarrassment for the people around you. It becomes something that they've got to deal with. And people say, well, if they can't accept you for who you are, yes, some shit you do is just too much to accept. And you shouldn't expect people to accept you for who you are in those particular scenarios. And this is one of them. So you don't really know how naturally she's performed in those acts. You don't really know how many men she was with at that time. You don't know how many men have experiences with your chick. And you don't know if they all have experiences together in one room at one time with your chick. You have no earthly idea. You don't know if she used to sell her body for money. You don't know. She could have had a pimp when she was younger. You don't know. You will never truly know a chick until you truly know a chick. And unfortunately, you will never truly know a chick, man. It's the reality of it. You never know, man, whether she's thinking about another man when she's intimate with you. You don't know that. That could be a man that she just can't have, and now she thinks about him all the time. She imagines you being him. She may slip up and call you the dude name sometime, and you're like, you call me his name, you call me that nigga name. Well, he must be talking about me. Well, I was just thinking about how you did me so wrong, and how you make me feel so good. And you see what I'm saying? See how convincing this is? See how convincing of a lie this is? You know, he treated me so bad, and every time you make me feel so good, I just think about the difference between you and him. It's just how you're such an amazing man, and he was nothing like you, and how much I settled for less, and I'm finally blessed with the man I'm supposed to have. Now your ass sitting here beating your chest, smiling like a jackass, and she just told you a lie because she think about that nigga because she wish you was him. But you don't know that, and you ain't gonna ask. What man gonna ask that? You think about another nigga while we in here having sex? Like, who you think about? What you thinking about? No man's gonna ask that. So that's just one of those things you just gonna not know. But it's possible. But you don't know. Because if you weren't her first, trust me, if you weren't her first, or at the very least her second, you're not her imprint. If you weren't her first, man, then you weren't the first one to tap that. You weren't the first one to take her to the throes of ecstasy. You weren't the first one to take her on a ride with you to the throes of ecstasy, rather. You weren't the first one man to drive the car to ecstasy, man, while she was on the passenger side riding with you. You don't know what's going on in her head. You have no idea about these things, man. And you never will. Because a woman can present herself however you want her to be. You see, men live in a fantasy world. Every man wants that perfect woman. So a woman cannot be perfect, but present herself as perfect in the small windows that you get of her. Think about how great a woman is when you're just dating. Think about even when you start spending the weekend together. Think about how great she is because it's only a 2-day sample size. And she's had time over that period to learn the things that she needs to do for that 2-day period. Now watch how shit change when y'all start cohabitating. When you cohabitate with her, it's going to never be the same as it was when y'all were just spending weekends together. You know why? Because the truth of her comes to the light. You don't get a small sampling size of her that she can maneuver and make be impressive however she wants to. Now she has to let the true her come out on the occasion that, that it chooses to come out and she can't suppress it. And now you're seeing sides of her that you've never seen before. You know why? Because your ass didn't know her as well as you know her once you cohabitate with her. That's a new level of knowledge. There's a new level of understanding of who the hell she actually is. And guess what? It is not the most amazing find. It is not the thing that you thought it was going to be. That is why married men are so damn miserable. You see, if a man is in the military, he happily married like a motherfucker. He happily married. He's happier than a nigga got to see his wife every day. If a man is a truck driver, he's happily married. He's more happily married than a man that got to see his wife every day. If a man is in the National Guard, he's just got to be gone for 2 weeks out of the month, or however long they be gone. He's a more happily married man than a man's got to see his woman each and every single day of his life. Because no man wants to see his woman each and every single day of his life. He just doesn't want to do it. He settles for it because that's part for the course when you're married. That's part of the marriage protocol. When you're married, you cohabitate, y'all live together, y'all sleep together in the same bed, y'all do all of that. But men who stay away from home are happier, are more happily married. No man is actually happily married, I don't think. Not a man who's been married for 3 years or longer. Your ass 3 years in, your ass ain't happily married. You just married. Another thing you don't know, for all the cars and all the flashy jewelry and all the name brand clothes and all of that, you have no idea what her debt to income ratio is. So even if you know she makes a lot of money, hell man, I know a chick man that'll make it $350,000 a year, man, and still had more debt than a year's salary. See, if you only making $350,000 a year, you ain't gonna never pay your debt off. Because you know how women function, they get more debt. See what I'm saying? A woman will never start thinking frugally about money until she takes a loss. You give a woman $50 million, her ass is not going to think frugally about money. All these women ain't Oprah Winfrey out here. You understand what I'm saying? And if Oprah Winfrey had stopped doing everything, you know what I'm saying, at 50 mil, now man, Oprah Winfrey got a net worth of a few $1 billion. But if you stop her at $50 million, $50 million, nigga, I'll never be broke again. Matter of fact, I'll never. If you give me 50 million, I'll never be worth 49 million again. I'll always be worth 50 million or better. You give a woman 50 million and take all her ability to make the money the way she made it. Take the source of income that made her the 50 million and get her to start from scratch. Shit. I'm telling you, bro, you got to give her a grip like $150 million, like what Michael Jordan's wife got. So we know that they can make money. They can make a boatload of money, even with this false narrative of this gender pay gap that they keep perpetuating that does not exist. We know they can make money. They make a lot of money. Black women make a lot of money, but black women's debt to income ratio is upside down. The majority of them have way more debt than they make income. And they will get more debt. And that is why they keep pressing the credit thing. They keep pressing the credit thing because in their world, being able to get more shit that you can't afford is what makes the world go round. I'm not saying you shouldn't care enough about your credit score to be able to get the things you need. You should be able to get a car if you need one. You should be able to live somewhere if you need to. You should be, even if you want, if for some reason you want to buy a home or get a loan on a home because you're not buying a home, you're getting a loan on a home. If you want to get a mortgage, then hey man, you should be able to do that. But beyond that, who cares if your credit score ain't 800? Like who cares if her credit score 695. There ain't much shit she can get with 750 that you can't get with 695. It gets to a point where the credit score doesn't matter anymore when it gets to 695, 700. You got a 700 credit score, man. You don't need a 760 credit score. You don't need a 750 credit score. You know why you don't? Because your ass can't afford to get in that would even be in a range like that. You at the top end of your range now financially. Probably in debt up to your nose now. So her debt to income ratio is what you should be focusing on, not her source of income, not her income. All these chicks with these degrees be talking about, I want a man with a degree. I want a man that can match me, with my income. Okay, let's go debt to income ratio. I bet there's a million niggas that can match your ass debt to income ratio because your debt to income ratio sucks. If you're a college educated woman, your debt to income ratio sucks. And if you have multiple degrees, oh yeah, you upside down. So who cares about your income if the people come knocking on your door and say, you can't do nothing with your income but pay us, your ass going to be back at home living with your mom. You're going to be homeless. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. You need to know the important things about a woman. And if you don't know her, a woman to tell you how much money she make, man, listen, I've never seen anybody as willing to tell how much income they make as a woman who make a nice little bit of money. She'll tell you in a minute. I make $100,000 a year. I make $150,000 a year. She'll tell you that in a minute. She won't tell you how much debt she got. She won't tell you how much student loan she got. You got to know her before she tell you that. But shit, she'll tell you within the first week of talking to her, man, how much money she make. She's proud of that. Another thing you don't know is this. You don't know the level of emotional damage that a woman has experienced because of some of these things. Because of the freaky sexual acts she's done and the way it's affected her reputation. Because of her being molested or having a child while she was being molested or being molested long term. The damage of her past relationships. How many abortions she's had. How many men view her as a woman not worth having. How many times she's been physically abused, verbally abused, assaulted, beaten, shot, stabbed, stalked. You never know any of these things. How many times she's been belittled at work. How she feels about her terrible family situation. You never know any of these things. And if you don't know these things, you have no idea who the hell your woman is. You don't know a woman until you know a woman. And you will never really know a woman. This is the reality of it. A woman can be whoever she wants to be. So when you see a woman who is not well built, who is attempting to present herself as being well built online, it's because she has psychological issues because of her overweight body. Anytime a woman puts on a body girdle to hide that fat, and from what I hear, those body girdles are uncomfortable as hell because you're trying to stuff a whole bunch of stuff that don't fit into a place that it doesn't fit. But they'll do that. They'll go through all of that because of the psychological issues they have from looking at their bodies. Yo, let me tell you something funny, man. I was fishing the other day, man, and there was a dude out there, man. I can't remember little homie name, but it's his dad, man. You know, these country boys, man. So he was out there, man, and we fishing. I wasn't really paying attention, but I overheard him talking. And I heard this dude say, he was telling his cousin, look, man, I ain't got all that fat and all that jelly and all them rolls and all that, all that flabby stuff. I'm just huge. This what this cat said, man. He just said, I'm just huge. And I'm thinking, bro, you can't be huge unless you got some fat and flab and all that. Homie said he's just huge. So, I look at it and I say, that's the same thing that women feel. They're in denial about these things until they see them for themselves behind closed doors. They'll tell you anything. I'm big bone, I'm thick, I'm this, I'm that. But if you're so big bone and you're so thick and you're so proud of it, why you keep trying to stuff that shit into a body girdle? Why you keep trying to make it look like you're not the size you are? Because psychologically, she's affected by the fact that she is not proud of what she looks like because she remembers what she used to look like. That is why she will have all this pride and all this, but she don't want to strip down butt naked. You know what I'm saying? Don't even want to strip down butt naked at the doctor. So I'm telling you, the reality of it is this, man. You don't know your woman because you don't know her past relationships. 2, you don't know how many pregnancies and abortions she's had. 3, you don't know how the men in her past truly view her. You only know what she says. And what she says is always going to make it seem like either she's the victim or she's the queen. A woman only has 2 positions to be in the shit that goes wrong in her life. She's either the victim or she's the queen who overcame somebody else's attack on her. Number 4, you don't know how many times she slept with the men of her friends or relatives. And you can find that out by just being around. But what do you got to do before you be around them? You have to get to know her before you know her. You have to get in tight with her. You have to fall for her. You have to pedestalize her. You have to put her in a position in your life before you actually get to know her and determine if she's worthy of that position. And number 5, you don't know whether she was molested and you don't know how often. You don't know what type of psychological damage comes from that shit, man. She could have a flashback, man, while y'all getting it in and stab you to death because you do something that the molester did, or you say something that the molester said. And you don't know that because she ain't told you that. Number 6, you don't know how many freaky sexual acts she's been engaged in and how nasty she behaved in such. You don't know what kind of footage is floating around of this chick. The same way they come up with footage of dudes doing this, you don't know what kind of footage is floating around of your chick. The only reason that shit ain't came out because her ass ain't famous. But you don't know what kind of footage is floating around of her. You have no idea. Number 7, you don't know whether she's thinking about another man when she's intimate with you. Why? Because you don't know if she's still caught up on another man. You don't know if there's another man that she still wishes she could have an opportunity with. You don't know if there's another man that she would trade your ass in a heartbeat for. You have no idea. Number 8, you have no idea what her debt to income ratio is. So no matter what she drives, no matter what kind of clothes she wears, 9 times out of 10, if you just got a job, any job, just a regular job, not something that pays you millions, just a regular job out here, your ass can't afford to be buying red bottom shoes. If you're buying if your closet full of red bottom shoes, you need to be a millionaire. Only person who can afford a bunch of red bottom shoes is a millionaire or a dope boy. You know what I'm saying? And a dope boy, you need to be on some hundreds. You need to be on some hundreds of thousands, baby, to be afford red bottoms. Different between the drug dealer, man, the D-boy, all you can do is buy dumb stuff with money. You can't flip it into clean money. You got to really reach a certain level to be able to flip it into clean money. Number 9, you don't know the level of her emotional damage because of all of these things I've mentioned and some things I didn't mention. You have no idea what the level of her emotional damage, what kind of emotional baggage she carries with her. For a myriad of reasons. We could spend all day talking about the reason that a woman may have some psychological issues. She may have been born with it. It may be hereditary, but you have no idea what her true mental state is until you get to know her. And she can present herself in small doses however the hell she wants to. And number 10, last thing on this particular list of how you will never truly know a woman until you truly know a woman, and you will never truly know a woman. You don't know how many men she actually deals with when she lies and says, you're the only one. You have no earthly idea how many men a woman actually deals with, interacts with, has sex with, gets money from, gives money to, when she lies and says you're the only one. And why do I say when she lies and says you're the only one? Because, homie, you are never the only one. Any man who believes he's the only one is a fool. And his mama should have aborted him. Not put him up for adoption. You don't even need to be in the world, man. You're that much of a fool. You are never the only one. And you just don't know how. There could be one other man. There could be 10 other men. You don't know how many other men there are. With all of these things with online dating and Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat and all these different ways of communication, and then you can get an app where you can text people that's not on your phone, and if somebody don't know you got the app, they won't even know to look at it. So you could be having conversations and interacting with men in totally different scenarios, where if a man looks at your phone and don't know you got the app, he might not even be able to tell that you're dealing with other men. So I say to you, man, I say to you, you never know how many men she actually deals with when she lies to your face with tears in her eyes, sounding all emotional, playing on your heartstrings, and says you're the only one. You simply don't know. You see, a woman can be whoever she wants to be, because the way she presents herself doesn't have to be realistic. When dating and meeting women and interacting with people in general became something that people preferred to do online, it took away the realness. It took away the authenticity. It took away the propensity for everyone to show them true self, to show their true selves, at least physically. Now, you don't know what you're getting. Until I meet a woman in person, if I was dating online, until I meet a woman in person, everything is a catfish. She catfishing me. If her picture is attractive, she catfishing me. She don't look like that for real. Because I'll be perfectly honest with you. If you allow every woman that you see that looks beautiful to take off all of her weave, all of her makeup, all of her fake eyelashes, all of her fake eyebrows, all of her lipstick, all of her lip gloss, and see what she looks like first thing in the morning, the majority of these chicks that are beautiful, when you see them or you think they're beautiful, look like somebody else when they wake up in the morning. And it's not that that somebody else is necessarily unattractive. It's just the fact that it's so different from what you saw when she was made up, dolled up, fixed up. You just can't accept it as beautiful because what you saw before was beautiful. And if something is so different that it's the opposite of what you saw, it can only be ugly. The opposite of beautiful is ugly. The opposite of attractive is unattractive. And if she changes and transforms into something totally different, you can never view it as attractive. And so you never know. So you men who are on Instagram, man, that shit could be anybody she want to be on Instagram. 9 times out of 10, what you see ain't her. To you men that on Facebook, a woman can present herself however she wants to on Facebook. Man, you don't know what the hell you're looking at. To you men who are on Snapchat, same thing goes. To you men who are on YouTube, you never know. You don't know anybody, man. Stop living in a fucking fantasy world where you could be told anything and you go for it. I understand that you want a fantasy, but I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. If you're a man and you live in a fantasy world where you could simply be told something that you don't even have to see, or you don't even have to know, or you don't even have to have a man who will vouch for that, tell me, how do you believe that you know that you really know a woman until you really know a woman. But you must accept the fact that you can't ever really know a woman. Y'all comment down below and let me know what you think, man. I appreciate everybody joining me for this premiere, man. It was an amazing one. There will be more to come like this, man. I have a topic list that is really impressive coming forward, man. We're going to jump into this thing from a full-fledged alpha perspective. I look forward to hearing what you men have to say. I'm out. Like this video on your way out if you enjoyed the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. When you subscribe, click that notification bell. Make sure your notifications are on so you can be alerted to when I upload some more of this real shit. And as always, alpha's up, beta's down. Peace.